guys, I'm excited for today's video because it is going to be a little bit more chatty, and I am going to be sharing some bomb products from some boring brands. And what I mean by that is that I'm not waiting on the edge of my seat for any of these brands to release new products, but I love the things I'm going to be featuring today. Some of these have been raved about a lot over the years. Some I would consider to be underrated products. And for some of these brands, with all of the other brands that have closed, like Becca, that still blows my mind, I'm surprised that some of these are still around compared to the other brands that have gone out of business. I feel there is no better way to start this video than by first mentioning the old lady brigade, Clinique, Lancome, Estee Lauder. Now, I think that they are doing what they're supposed to be doing. They are keeping their main loyal customers happy by not discontinuing their favorite products, which other brands need to get on that game, because I think a lot of us have a lot of products that we love that we feel like we're decently hyped that got discontinued for some crazy reason. But Clinique, Lancome, Estee Lauder really don't do that very much. And they aren't always coming out with new products, trying to keep up with trends, which for a makeup obsessed person like me who's always wanted to try new things, that is boring. But if they do shift their focus to that, they may lose their loyal customers. And again, makeup consumers like us, I don't necessarily have brand loyalty, which I think is something that keeps them thriving. So it makes sense to me. So I used to work at an Estee Lauder counter at Belk. You can't get more old lady than that. I also helped out at Clinique a good bit. And we saw all of our customers were older ladies for the most part, or especially at Clinique, moms that were introducing their daughter to makeup, which I always thought was so sweet. And all three of these brands have makeup and skincare products, which I think is amazing, especially for their main customers, that they don't try products from this brand and that brand. They are loyal. You've got my whole skincare regimen from one brand sold. So I think they are doing the right things. It's just that I am not their main customer. But that being said, there are not a ton of products that excite me. Let's start with Clinique. For makeup products, the Pretty Easy Liquid Lining Pen is fantastic. It is a brush tip liquid liner. It is matte. It is super black, lasts for a long time, super easy to line your eyes and do the wing. It's fantastic. The Physicians Formula Eye Booster Liquid Liner is very similar, and the prices aren't even that far off because Physicians Formula can be very expensive when not on sale, and the Clinique product is not that pricey. So I absolutely love that one. The Cheek Pop blushes used to be a favorite of mine years ago. I don't have them in my collection anymore. You do need to apply them with a dense brush. I still think they are nice. They have a decent amount of shades, mostly on the lighter side. Fig Pop and Cola Pop would work better for deeper skin tones. But overall, their makeup is not for me. I had the hardest time matching foundations to customers because all of the light shades have a very pink or very peachy orange undertone. They've added a few more shades over the years, luckily, but they still could work a lot on the undertones in their products. But my favorite things from Clinique would be two skincare products. Now, Clinique does a great job of having a ton of skincare products, and they're either a line that is targeting a specific skin concern, or they have some products like their toners that all are numbered differently to go with a specific skin type. Now, I don't know if that is just a gimmick, if that is just marketing, or if there really are significant differences between the products. I don't know, but whatever way they're marketing their products works for them. And the first product that I'm obsessed with, the Clinique Take the Day Off Cleansing Balm. So many people love that, and I think it's phenomenal. Right now, I am using the It Cosmetics Bye Bye Makeup Cleansing Balm. Does not compare. The Clinique fully breaks down all my full coverage makeup and my mascara. The It Cosmetics has a very hard time fully breaking down mascara. The Clinique has no scent to it, so it does not burn my skin or my eyes. The It Cosmetics has rose hip oil that is irritating my eyes, and I just don't love the smell of rose. And the Clinique does not leave a film behind, but it also does not leave my face feeling stripped or dried out. the It Cosmetics does leave a film behind, and in my makeup eraser, I literally can go like this with my nails and scrape out product out of it when I use the It Cosmetics, which is just disgusting. So the Clinique is phenomenal. It takes me a long time to get through it. I don't overuse it. You really don't need to, and it does go on sale from time to time at a bunch of different places, but definitely at Ulta is where I pick it up. So that is my ride or die cleansing balm, my favorite way to remove my makeup. I will continue to use that for years and years. And then something that I love that I've never heard anybody talk about would be the City Block Charcoal Face Mask and Scrub. I've never used it as a mask. I only use it as a scrub. I think in the past, I don't know if it's been since the beginning of the year, but maybe just within the last year, they did repackage this and change the name slightly. I have not tried the new one, so I'm really hoping they did not reformulate it. It is now called the All About Clean 2-in-1 Charcoal Face Mask and Scrub. I love this consistency because it is sandy, so it is very finely milled. It does a great job physically exfoliating the skin without being too harsh like a walnut scrub or too ineffective like a lot of sugar scrubs. It is so good. I absolutely love it. Takes me a while to get through it. I will definitely repurchase it in the future. I've tried a lot of other face scrubs because I like something that is a physical exfoliant, and this is just the best one. So those are the things I love from Clinique. Next, a Lancome. It's a brand that I didn't really get into a ton. I know that a lot of people love the Genifique Serum and the Bifacil makeup remover. There's tons of dupes for the Bifacils. The Genifique, I just think because I don't have a ton of wrinkles to worry about, I don't really notice anything from it. But I know their mascaras are very popular. The Hypnose Drama is still my favorite mascara. It's very expensive. I think it's around $27. So if you could ever get a mini as a 100-point perk from Sephora, I highly recommend it because the minis are like a value of like $14.50, which is crazy, where most mascaras come out to be like around $8, $10, something like that. But it is phenomenal. It is a wet formula. It's a natural bristle brush, but I'll put a picture of it. It has like a almost like a S shape, which I love so much more than an hourglass brush because it really helps to hug my lashes. It gives me length, it gives me volume, it gives me more of like a fluttery outer lash look. It is so good. It does also go on sale from time to time, but I love whenever I can get little freebies from Ulta because oof, it is so good. Then for Estee Lauder, my girl, they have some skincare products that I really enjoyed in the past for more of like pore control, and those products actually were never even on the display even, but I was able to buy them. The Idealist, I think is what the line was called, and it just really, they don't match their targeted customers, so it wasn't on display. Melissa Gorga. Okay, anyways, the two products that I absolutely love from them would be from the Double Wear line. What they're known for, first being the Double Wear Stay in Place Classic Foundation. I'm the shade 1W1 Bone. This was my first high-end foundation I tried. I tried Revlon Color Stay Combo Oily Version and Estee Lauder Double Wear. Both of them were incredible first foundations because they were perfect. Both of them, in my opinion, my conspiracy, have been reformulated. I think we all know the Revlon has been reformulated, repackaged several times in the past 10 years. But when I started working at Estee Lauder, I mentioned to the other girl that worked there that like, I'm very certain this has been reformulated, and she says she did not think so. I bought my first bottle at a CCO. It was lighter than this new shade, and it was more full coverage and more matte, which was perfect for me. Now, the shade's a little bit darker. I still think it works very well for me. And I would say that this is a medium buildable to full coverage foundation, and it has more of a satin finish. I'm wearing it today. I still really love it. I think it's very beautiful, but I just have in my mind that it changed a little bit over the years. People still refer to this as like, whoa, it's a full coverage foundation. I feel like there are other things that maybe it's just they feel heavier on the skin. I don't know, but I love this one. They have a lot of shades. I think they have good undertones. It's a really good foundation. I know a lot of people love the Lancome Tinty Doll and compare the two. I don't think so. That one has a medium coverage and it has more of a natural finish. So this is more satin, more medium to full. They also don't have good undertones in the lighter shades. They have since added another shade that I do think works a little bit better for me, but this I think is better. Like a lot of people in the past talked about these as being like the same. They are not the same. And then something that I think is underrated would be the Double Wear Stay in Place Flawless Wear Concealer. They have a couple of different double wears. One's a radiant one. This is the regular one. My perfect shade is one in light neutral. This is good skin tone match for me, but I have, in the past, they had fewer shades. This used to be called Extra Light, and then the light shade I used under my eyes, which was a similar lightness. It just had more of a neutral undertone. This is a full coverage concealer, has more of a satin finish. I think that this is MAC Pro Longwear Concealer with a doe foot applicator. That used to be my favorite concealer. Then I tried this one and it's so much better. I have tried the pot concealers for blemishes. I like this one better. I think it really stays in place well. I do leave it on to let it dry down a little bit before I blend it out. I can blend it out with a finger, a brush. Both of these smell a little bit like paint, but I love it. I love it. It is different than other products that have smelled like paint, like MAC Studio Fix Foundation. That smells a little different and I don't love it. But both of these I think are awesome. If you want a full coverage flawless base, you're gonna get it with these Laura Mercier. I think the brand is overpriced, period. It's not that interesting to me. I have tried the matte baked powder highlight. It's good. Try to get it at TJ Maxx if you can. I've tried the blushes. They're good, but I would rather use Persona, Buxom. But I do think that their translucent loose powder is very good. However, I'm surprised that so many people love it because it is drying and it does darken the shade of my concealer. I have oily skin, I have oily under eyes, so it works well for me, but I am so surprised that so many other people love it. But I do think it's phenomenal. But there are other powders, like y'all know, my Dermablend translucent loose powder that I don't have to mix. It doesn't darken, it lightens a little bit, which for me works just fine. I would rather have something lighten than darken. So it is still a phenomenal product. I cannot wait for my birthday gift this year because I will be picking that because it comes with like a travel size of that. And my other favorite from Laura Mercier, which you guys know, would be the Caviar sticks. So Bobbi Brown also makes a phenomenal cream shadow. I find the formula to be very similar, but Laura Mercier has better shades, more interesting shades, more shades. They've got some duochromes, which is very exciting. This is a Sephora exclusive, I believe. This is Rush. I'm wearing it as a base today. It's a really pretty purple to blue duochrome. They've got some matte shades, which I'm not really interested in the matte base. And then this one is incredible. This is Metallic Taupe. It is so metallic. They have the intense formula of some of their shades, which has more glitter. That's not my favorite. I just prefer like the regular finishes. They came out with a Rose Glow collection last year with 6 shades. I bought them all. It's not necessary to have that many eye bases. These are great on their own, but I use them as a base to really just intensify the color of my powder shadow and to help it adhere to my eye. I have very oily lids. These do not crease on me. They blend nicely, but they do also set in place. Phenomenal. I think this is the best shadow stick. I also love the size of this because I do have hooded eyes, some smaller lid space. So this is not too big. I'm able to get in the inner corner of my eye very easily. You can line with these pretty easily. So good. Next is Lorac. I am honestly surprised that Lorac is still in business. And the first product is something discontinued, but I wanted to mention it because I think it's so good. And this is the Take a Brow Kit in the shade Blonde. The packaging, when I first saw it, I thought was a tester. It is not. And I was introduced to this by my friend Lucy, who sent this to me years ago in the color Blonde. I did use up the lighter shade here. It comes with a lighter shade, a darker shade, and then a wax. The wax is super sticky. I don't use it. But this is a nice warm blonde color. The lighter shade is warmer. You can tell this one's a little bit darker and a little bit more neutral. And they're very pigmented, great on their own, but I don't really use brow powder anymore. So I'm currently using these up as a hairline powder. I am using this darker one today since having landed a lot of my hair has come out and it just looks a little patchy. So I filled it in there. It is so good. So I know that this is not available. I don't want to talk about it too much longer, but I've literally never heard anyone talk about this. And thank you, Lucy, for sending it to me because it is so good. I love it. And then the other product from Lorac that's really good would be their Luxe Diamond highlighters. They do have 3 individual shades, all too dark for me, unfortunately. My sister has the shade Gilded Lily, which is a little bit more of a warm pink tone. They're so metallic and so gorgeous, and they did release this a few years ago, the Luxe Diamond Golden Hour palette. Some people have found this at TJ Maxx. For me, I got mine half off. 21 Days of Beauty at Ulta. Comes with 6 shades here. This lightest color is so good to mix with all the other ones to make them work for me. These work on their own. These two need a little mix in. I wore this one on its own the other day and it was super pretty. But this is a really nice metallic highlighter that is not too glittery. It isn't a really thick formula that looks heavy on the skin. Blends in really nicely. This is phenomenal, and I love how compact the packaging is. So I absolutely recommend that highlighter formula. Then we have a drugstore brand. We have Rimmel. So if Rimmel disappeared, I would literally have no idea. I don't know if they even have it at Ulta anymore, if they only have it at drugstores and like Walmart and Target. But Rimmel Stay Matte Transparent Powder is my favorite touch-up powder. I have tried others that either oxidize or they make my makeup kind of patch and look funny, or they're not very mattifying. I get really oily really quick. This is so good at touching up. I have no issues with it. I used it to set my under eyes the other day. It worked really well. This is fantastic. I think it's only $3, which is wonderful, but this packaging is so crap annoying. These break very easily, and honestly, if they put this in, you know, like a regular compact and bumped up the price to $5 or $6, I'd be totally fine with that. This is the best touch-up powder I've ever used. And then I also really like, I'll put up a picture, the Lash Accelerator mascara. It's a very wet formula though, so you may want that one to dry out a little bit. The only negative with that is that I do have very runny, watery eyes, so I can get a little smudging, but it is a natural bristle brush that is a little bit smaller, but something about the bristles gives you volume, but it also gives you a lot of length and fullness. It is so good. So I do have one of those waiting to be used because I got a backup of the powder and the mascara for some crazy sale. I got it for like $5 for the both of them, which was fantastic. The next brand would be Bare Minerals. I know they've evolved a lot over the years. Instead of being just loose, they have a lot of pressed products. I did buy one of the bronzers. I got the Kiss of Pink. I have not tried it yet, but the other product I really love from them would be the Bounce and Blur blushes. They have 4 shades. I have all 4 of them. We have Mauve Sunrise, Pink Sky, Coral Cloud, and Blurred Buff. So one for every season for me. This is a great cream to powder blush. I apply these with the Real Techniques buffing brush. They apply well over powdered skin, which is very important to me as an oily skin person. And they're so easy to use, such pretty colors. This is my favorite cream blush formula, and I'm glad they have 4 shades because if they had more, I'd want even more, but I feel like they cover all their bases here. So love this product so much, and I cannot wait to try the bronzers. We just have 2 more brands to talk about. Next one would be Smashbox. When Becca went out of business, and then Smashbox acquired some of their products, I could not believe that. I would have thought that it would have been the other way around, because Smashbox is just, I don't know, had a lot of flops over the years. The things that I feel like are raved about the most would be their primers, which they have just repackaged like 6 times over the past decade, which I think is insane. But the one primer from them that I think is very good would be the Primerizer. I have just a little mini here, and this is supposed to be a hydrating primer. It's supposed to be a moisturizer and a primer in one. I have very oily skin, so this is something I can only use in winter and spring, but I love it. It feels different than a serum, feels different than a typical hydrating primer, than a moisturizer. Something about it feels so smoothing on the skin. It has a little bit of tack, and I've been using that as my base with powder foundations, and that works so well. It does not cling, but it doesn't like look too dry and patchy. It clings enough where like the powder is actually sticking to your skin and giving you coverage. Such a good combo. I definitely recommend that, especially with powder foundation. But if you have dry or normal skin, I think that will be so good. Like, I do not like gripping primers at all. I feel like they make my makeup patchy, but that has just like the perfect amount of glow stick to it. I really think that's a phenomenal product. And then this is my favorite lengthening separating mascara, it is the Smashbox Superfan. So it's a wet formula. It is a plastic bristle brush. Really just gets in your lashes, gives you that length and separation. On its own, it is fine, but I prefer to pair this with a volumizing mascara. Incredible. And the last brand I want to mention, I would say, is the least boring out of all of these brands, and that would be Benefit. Every time they release a product, I'm like, ooh, what is it? What is it? I'm getting excited about the teasers, about the brand trips, and then they say, guess what? We're coming out with a waterproof mascara. And you're just like, what? Y'all had a whole trip for that? Their products, I think, are great quality, but like every time they release something, I'm like, that's it. Except they did just release 12 blushes. One of them is Dandelion. Out of all of your original shades, that's the one you kept that works for barely anyone. It's a good range of colors, light to deep, some mattes, some shimmery blushes, some satin blushes. So I'm very impressed. They also reduced the size of their boxes, which I'm also impressed by. So like, keep it up, Benefit. Now we just need you to work on lip glosses and eyeshadow palettes. But I was very happy to see that launch. But in general, right? Like, you're like, you came with another professional primer, another one? Like, I just, you know, they have a lot of their basics covered, but I want to see exciting things, fun things, you know what I mean? But I know people think that Anastasia is the queen of brows, and I get it. Benefit does it better. The products and the formulas, I'd say, are similar, but I think Benefit has a better amount of shades and undertones. In Anastasia, blonde is too green on me, taupe is too dark and too cool tone that I can make it work in the pencil, but not any of the other products. But Benefit, I can wear shades 1 and 2. 1 is a little warmer, 2 is a little cooler, but they both work for me. I would probably prefer to go with 1 just because you guys see I do, you know, my brows are a little intense with the way that I draw them on, so a lighter shade works better for me just to make them look a little bit more natural. The first is something that they have like redone, their brow pomade. It used to be called Cabrow, had a little brush on top. Now it's different, but this is the best brow pomade I've ever tried. It's the lightest color I've ever found. The formula is really nice because it's not too thick. It's on the thinner side, but it's not slippery. It stays in place. It's a really good product. I just don't use pomades anymore. I'm not skilled enough to apply them in a non-blocky, crazy way. But if you're into pomades, I think this is the best one. But the real stars here would be the brow pencils and the brow gel. I have tried the clear brow gel. I don't love the applicator. I think Anastasia clear brow gel is better, but everything else I'm gonna go with Benefit for. So first we have the Precisely My Brow Pencil, which is their micro pencil. I use this to draw on the tail, the front, and then line my brows. And then I go in the center with Goof Proof, which is their diamond shape pencil. It is not necessary to use both of these, but I have them and I will use them both. And when I use them in combination, it takes me a while to get through. But if I had to pick one, I would just pick Precisely My Brow. And then I love the Gimme Brow Gel. My brows are not unruly. They stay in place pretty well. So for me, it's not the hold as the reason I love this. It is because of the fibers and the fact that it does emphasize the actual hairs, which for the amount of brow product I put on, I feel like is important to make them a little bit more natural. So I just love these so much. And luckily, one of the Benefit brow products is almost always in 21 Days of Beauty. I still have backups of these. So phenomenal. I love them so much. Another product I love from Benefit, I want to mention it before I forget because I don't have it here. I'll insert a picture as well. The Gal Bang Mascara. They're real, don't like it. The roller lash is too blah. I feel like a lot of people that like the mascara also wear fake lashes, but I don't. I just wear mascara on its own. Gal Bang is a very wet formula. It has a plastic wand, so this is also very good at giving length separation. It can give a little bit of volume because it's so wet. You can use it and kind of thicken up your lashes, but it's also something I like using in combination with more of a volumizing mascara. Another product that I absolutely love is Benefit Hoola. This was just like a little birthday gift size. I have used up my full size. They have 4 shades in Hoola. Hoola Light, I think it should be worked on. I am very fair. I cannot wear that color. It is like a weird olivey yellow shade that looks like you have the wrong color face powder on. Very bizarre, but I'm happy to see that they added 2 shades darker than this. I feel like this could be the lightest shade and then add 1 even deeper. If we're still just gonna have 4 shades, I would love to see that, but I love the formula of this. And even though the pans aren't super deep, it's very pigmented and it lasts forever, but I really love this. This is not too warm or too cool on me. I can use this to bronze and to contour. I really love the formula of this, and it is a matte bronzer, but it doesn't look too dry. And then I'm in love with their highlighters. I know when they came out, people were obsessed with Cookie in general, but also Jaclyn Hill really loved it, so a lot of people loved it. And they are very blinding, but again, they're not too thick on the skin. I don't know how a ton of people wear Cookie though, because the reflect is very light and it's really intense, but I love it. I think if you wanted to just do like a little doot, so, and for me, I can put on more because I'm so fair, but I love it. Very pigmented, very smooth, very metallic. And then I love the Tickle shade as well. And this is like a purpley pink base, but it has a golden reflect to it. And Becca Lilac Geode is similar, except the reflect's not as intense and it's a little bit darker. This one works better for my skin tone. I love this in spring. It is so pretty. And this formula is incredible. I love the Ofra highlight formula and the Benefit. I would love for them to expand their shade range to 5. I think if we can have more of like a coppery color and then definitely a gold, because like I said, Cookie is just something that I think would be a little too light on some people. But if Benefit wants to come out with like an Omrizy type of shade, or like an Ofra Rodeo Drive, Laura Geller Gilded Honey, you guys know the type of gold highlights that everybody loves. MAC Whisper of Guilt, you feel me, you know what a lot of popular gold highlighters are. This formula is so good, and Benefit should release more shades in this line. At least 4, but if we could do 5, that would be great. If we could do more bronzers, that'd be great. But like, if this was the lightest shade, add 1 deeper, and then 2 or 3 more of these. That would be amazing. I would just love that so much, to make them more inclusive. And this is such a good formula. Like, keep the hype up about this. You don't need another professional primer, okay? You don't. But more of these, yes please. So those are some Balm products from some boring brands. I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit more of a chatty aspect to this. I would love to hear your favorite products from these brands. I would love to hear if you think these brands are boring. I would also love to know what other brands you consider to be boring, because I would love to do a part 2 to this, because I know there's so many brands out there. I started to go through the list of brands on Ulta, and then I just stopped because I felt like this was enough, and we're gonna have a 30-minute video with all my chatting, so it is enough. So I would love to do a part 2 though. So leave me some brand suggestions down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you got to see a little bit more of my personality here. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.